Welcome to the Turkish Airlines series podcast. I'm BJ Cunningham, and today we're joined by Rob Whitworth, filmmaker, visual storyteller, and the mind behind some of the most iconic cinematic journeys through Turkey. Rob doesn't just shoot video, he orchestrates time, space, and emotion. You may have seen his breathtaking work in Once Upon a Time in Cappadocia or Flow Through the City of Tales. Both films created for Turkish Airlines that redefine how we see and feel places we thought we already knew. But behind the stunning visuals is a philosophy. Rob captures the soul of a place, not just its skyline. His camera isn't just a lens, it's a compass pointing through emotion, memory, and movement. Today, we're going to explore what it means to tell a story without words, how cities breathe through light and rhythm, and what happens when a filmmaker becomes a translator of wonder. Let's begin. Rob, thank you so much for being with us here in Istanbul today. To start us off, please can you tell us a bit about your creative journey? How did you find your way into this unique style of storytelling that blends photography, filmmaking, and an almost magical kind of architectural poetry?
So, I call my style flow motion, and the idea is it's a single take. And a good example, just imagine we're here in Istanbul, and imagine you're on the Galata Tower, right? And you're on the rooftop, and in front of you, what have we got? We've got this awesome view. We've got the Bosphorus, we've got all the ships on there, we've got like Asia in the background, and a beautiful city in the foreground, and that's like, I'm going to take a picture of that, right? That's a wide shot. It's great. And then it's like, oh, what's going on down there? You see there's a couple, and they're like, are they arguing? That's really interesting. And that's like this tiny little detail, right? This tiny little frame. And it's just, how do we connect those? That's what you want to do. As a human, you're seeing these two worlds, and it's like, well, why can't the camera do that? And that was where kind of the idea of flow motion started for me was, well, let's do it. Let's have it. So we get the wide shot, and then we see this detail. And then it's like, well, why don't we join them? Why don't we see where they go? What do they do? Do they get some food? Do they make up? Does one of them storm off and get into a taxi? And it's like, let's join them. Let's see that.
And what happens?
To be confirmed. Yeah, I don't know.
I love that. Okay, let's go back to the beginning. Was there a specific moment or experience in your life when you realized that storytelling through visuals, through photography, moving image, was your calling?
So there's a tremendous kind of technical aspect to moving pictures versus stills. So my background is photography, and that's where I've got a degree in and spent many years. And at the time, it was relatively difficult to film moving pictures, video, without spending a lot of money on camera kit that I didn't have. So my way into it was, it's called time-lapse, where what you do is you use a camera and you take multiple stills over like maybe hours, days, weeks, and then you play that back at 25 frames a second and you speed it up. And that then suddenly took me into this sort of gray area between, am I a photographer, am I a filmmaker? And I think I am now a filmmaker, not a photographer at all, but that was sort of the way into that journey.
So was it about the camera or about the subject? Was it about the machine or about the actual thing the machine is recording?
So the thing I love, and there's always, it kind of transfixed me about filmmaking and photography, is it captures the world as you can't see it. It's just like time-lapse, right? You're speeding up time, so suddenly clouds become these beautiful, fluffy little balls moving around the sky, and what becomes like cities become, like roads become like arteries. The whole world changes. Like slow motion would be another example where suddenly things are different. And for me, the single take, the idea where the camera goes on this impossible roaming journey in flow motion is a similar idea. It's presenting the world as, to kind of entice and engage, in a different way.
When you talk about time speeding up and the city entering flows, what's coming to my mind is that movie Koya Naskatsi. Is that an influence for you?
Absolutely. I think my dad showed that to me when I was younger, and yes, that's like it's a go-to film in time lapse. It's totally brilliant. And there's another like in the UK we have David Attenborough. We have natural history shows, and they were always like the gold standard. But there's lots of it's just beautiful. It's sumptuous filming of locations and wildlife, and that's something I've luckily got to work in since as well. But yes, those were definitely like, things you could dream of.
So, do you remember the first time you picked up this machine, a camera? And what was it that made you have this machine actually start filming?
So I don't think I wanted to do biology. That was the reason.
That's a good reason.
Yeah, it was like A levels in the UK, and I chose biology, and it was awful. You don't do that. So I gave that up. I took up photography, and like I came from a whole family of creatives, and I was kind of seen as the non-creative one. And I was kind of living up to that. And then when I was about 16, picked up a camera, doing A-level photography, black and white stuff, really cool, developing. Just, yeah, it went from there.
Fantastic. Before your international acclaim, I mean, you've got a BAFTA, you've worked with incredible brands, Turkish Airlines. What were you filming just for yourself?
So, I mean, it's an integral part. It's such a low percentage shot being a filmmaker and being to create images that people want to see. It's just a lot of failure. I mean, even now on professional shoots, I find like getting stuff wrong is so important, like because that's the only way you can get something that's really good, I find. But yes, so I spent awful stuff, like terrible stuff, like like random projects. I mean, I converted the cupboard under the stairs in a house I was living in like a long time ago, and I turned it into a mini studio so I could film fruit rotting. No idea why, but it's just like from doing that and working out the technical aspect and the creative aspect, you take it from there.
Fantastic. Your unique style blends hyperlapse, motion design, and emotional narrative. How did this visual language evolve? Was it a conscious, artistic direction, intention, or something that grew just naturally?
I mean, I wish it was that calculated, but yeah, no, it's a journey, isn't it? I mean, I find you've just got to do what you love. You've got to, it's such a competitive area, creative space, and unless you're completely, consumed by what you're doing, somebody's going to do it better. You've just got to, and I try and, you've got to work in where you're passionate and what you want to do and hope that other people are interested in that. But yes, that's definitely the journey.
You've traveled the world. I mean, you've been all over and you've lived in many different places. When you arrive in a new city, what are you drawn to first? Is it the light, the movement, the energy, the noise?
I mean, I love cities. They're kind of the peak of humanity, right? It's where millions of people live together in close proximity and things happen. There's such an energy. There really is an energy to a city. And arriving in a new city, it's kind of there's so much culture there. You can see the little differences. There's obviously the similarities. But yeah, it's just that kind of, you get a feeling for a city and a place and for a country as a whole by going to its capital. And it's definitely something I love to do because I just think it's, you don't get the same if you're kind of somewhere more rural, even though they have their charms.
So when you look at Istanbul, the queen of cities, when you see this glass and concrete next to mosques and 1,000-year-old architecture, what is it here that captures your attention?
I like a bit of glass and concrete. I mean, I love the juxtaposition. I mean, I know a lot of people like in like beautiful cities like Istanbul would find that challenging, but I think a city's not a museum, is it? And like, think when the Eiffel Tower was built in Paris, it was seen as a monstrosity, right? Everyone, like all the sophisticated Parisians were like, this is a catastrophe. Why are we building this big iron monstrosity? It's the Eiffel Tower. So I think you've got to view everything through that lens, and it's part of a city.
So how do you distinguish between a city you want to visit, for example, with your family? I know you've got your wife here and your 2 sons, and a city you want to film.
I mean, I wouldn't accept. I mean, every city is amazing. I mean, it's like hundreds of thousands of people, millions of people living together. There's going to be stories there and interest there, and there's kind of unique challenges in any location. I mean, filming a city like Istanbul, I mean, it's wonderful. Don't get me wrong, but like, you're not the first person to film it, and it's totally brilliant and beautiful. And like, there's a lot of responsibility there to kind of try and do that some justice. Whereas maybe a less represented city, in a way, can be kind of cool. Like, and as a filmmaker, it can be a bit more of a challenge. Like, how can I make this subject interesting? How can I make people engage with it? So they definitely both have their charms.
And what makes a place or a thing visually worthy of your attention, your time, your machine?
Oh, my attention is not that, to be worthy. Yeah, no, I mean, it's any subject. I love the challenge. I mean, like, I'm a commercial filmmaker as well, so, I film products or film cars. I mean, it's sort of, that's applying the art, isn't it? It's trying to work out a way you can capture something and tell a story and engage people. that's all part of the challenge. Absolutely.
So everything's worthy as long as there's a story behind it.
I'm sure there's some caveats there, but yeah, I think so. Why not? I mean, it's a great challenge, isn't it? And it's kind of lovely when you get a brief from a client and you're a bit like, oh, never thought about that. But then that's your own ignorance, isn't it? Then you can learn out why it's interesting and why people put a lot of time into it.
So here's a slightly semiotic question. If you couldn't use a camera, you didn't have that machine with you, just imagine life without a camera. How would you express what you see or feel in a city?
Just sit in a corner and shake or something, I think. What would you do? Without a camera? I mean, so first of all, we always have cameras, right? It's not like 20 years ago. Now we've got our smartphone, and that's an awesome camera right there in your pocket all the time. But if you didn't have that, I mean, I kind of like, one of the best things about travel is just being there, right? And often the camera interferes with that. I mean, you're so busy thinking of frames, and I mean, I think I still would think about frames, but I'd also have other thoughts and probably, just be with your thoughts. And there's no necessary, the immediacy doesn't need to be there. It could be something that goes in and then it creatively comes out 10 or 15 years time. You don't know.
So rather than capturing the moment, you'd be being in the moment.
Maybe that's where I've gone wrong. All these pictures.
It sounds like
what
you've gone completely right. You've previously worked with Turkish Airlines on iconic projects, Flow Through Istanbul, Once Upon a Time in Cappadocia. You're reflecting on those experiences and those projects. What stood out to you about Turkish Airlines' vision or creative approach? What made these collaborations meaningful for you as a storyteller?
I mean, you've got to think about it. And for Turkish Airlines, I mean, there's just a tremendous pride, right? I mean, Turkey is a beautiful country. There's so much here. And they just want to show it to the world. They want to capture it. They want you to present it. I mean, it's kind of cool to be chosen to do that. A lot of responsibility to do that, but that's it. They want to show how amazing Istanbul is, how incredible Cappadocia is. And they're really cool. Go there.
When you get briefed by a client, you see, hopefully through that brief, you perceive the vision the client's trying to give you. How did you first perceive Turkish Airlines' vision when you began working on their projects?
I mean, it's a mixture of things, isn't it? I mean, I think there's always, with a big city, say like Istanbul, there's the headline attractions, and they're definitely a component. But there's just there's certain essences and bits that you try and incorporate as well. And I don't know, it's such a vast city. You're never going to capture every story, but it's trying to mix in that, get a little bit of your own kind of how you see things and your own storytelling in there, but also trying to see it through the client's perspective and maybe through kind of the different stories that are taking place around you.
And what was the creative process behind Once Upon a Time in Cappadocia and Flow Through Istanbul? What was the actual mechanics of the creation behind that?
Often a lot of work takes place long before you arrive on a location with any project. You're doing a lot of kind of research of different places, and you're not reinventing the wheel a lot of time. This stuff has been filmed before, and like immerse yourself in that. There's no reason to sort of like try and go and I'm not a believer in that. So you do a lot of research, and then when you arrive on the ground, for me, the recon, going around, seeing the different things, there's no replacement for it, particularly in a single take world where like for every scene you've got to arrive at it, land the hero shot and go somewhere else. It's like there's a lot of mechanics there, like how can we get into the shot and where would we go? So yeah, the recon's brilliant for that, just to really bring everything to life in a way you will never get from looking at a screen. So the more time we can spend on a shoot doing that, the better. And always on a shoot, there's tremendous pressure, right? You're arriving with all your camera gear and everyone's like, film, why aren't you filming stuff? Like, dude, you're here to film stuff. So you've got the more time you can kind of stretch out to really think and kind of come together with a really clear storyboard, the better the outcome, I find.
So is that hero shot already fixed in your mind before you start?
A version of, but a shoot's like an iterative process where you really refine, what you're going for. And sometimes, that is it. That's the hero shot you had in mind is kind of the one you incorporate or you capture, but very often, you discover something slightly different. You add your own angle or you discover something totally new. But you need to start, I think, with some key shots in mind to sort of a script to deviate from, I guess.
So we talked about hero shots, and we've talked about the experience you had in Istanbul and Cappadocia with the Turkish Airlines projects that you created. What was the visually unforgettable moments there for you? What were the hero shots?
Come on, Istanbul, Cappadocia is awesome, right? It's just this completely otherworldly environment with so much history. I mean, I guess when I look back to it, the things I remember, I was there. I had my young kid at the time. When we were filming Istanbul, my wife was heavily pregnant, and Turkish people are wonderful. Like, it was great. And then when we filmed Cappadocia, it was the following year, and we had this, it's like 3-month-old baby, I think, and it was like winter in Cappadocia. It was really cold. And I was just like, the Turkish people were so welcoming, and like, it was really, really, really great. That's probably the fondest memory I have. But obviously, the locations are great, don't get me wrong.
So I'm thinking, you're in Cappadocia, you've got this little baby. Did you do the balloon? I did the balloon when I loved it.
I'm very glad I didn't take young Freddie up, and it was -18. It was really cold. I mean, it gets cold here, like, and and it was, because it was so cold, there was no wind, so we went up and down. But other people have wonderful experiences, and I've seen they look magical.
We went up, we went around, we had a balloon pilot.
They've got no engines though. They
skimming the top of the mountain.
Yeah, that didn't happen.
Oh, it's fantastic. What about Istanbul? What was the hero shot of Istanbul?
So I spent quite a long time. I'm going to struggle with. So there was a hero shot, and it was filmed from a minaret that I sort of identified. It was kind of back up from Eminönü. There's a famous mosque. I forgot the name of.
I don't know. But it's a beautiful mosque.
So we got access up to this minaret, and it had this awesome view of you could see across the Bosphorus. You could see the Glatter Tower and that beautiful kind of peninsula. So that was hunting it down, and getting access was a key part of that. And that was before drones, so it was you needed to really be there.
So here we go. What is the very first thing that you do after receiving a brief? Do you scout locations, focus on the story, or dive straight into technical planning?
So it's very much. I mean, it's the client. Your job is a communicator, right? So the client has an idea of what they want to represent. So it's very much getting an understanding of what's important to the client, and then also doing your own research. Very much like, you're not reinventing the wheel. It's like seeing what's been filmed before, what looks good, what's important. I love history. I'm quite into history, and I like reading books and finding like a place like Istanbul. There's so much to learn that I don't know, but it's like I love all of those things, to try and really get a sense for a place. And then, they're all ingredients, right? And you're making a recipe that's the video, and you just want to get as much, ideas and stuff to start with before you start filming.
So you're a city filmer. I mean, you look at the soul of a city, you bring that to life on screen for an audience. What do you pay attention to in your world when you're trying to understand and capture this soul to then express?
I wish I did. I mean, cities are, they're home to millions of people. There's so much to a city. There's so much depth, right? I mean, I would like to think I capture some stories and things that people can connect with. But it's an exploration, isn't it? It's sort of, it's a little bit of your own time there. That definitely goes in, but it's also, famous stories with like, in the Istanbul video, it's kind of nice to resonate to the flying over the Bosphorus, like 400 or 500 years ago, that story of jumping from the Glatter Tower and that sort of stuff, to try and get some of those details in there as well, just to try and make it so people can connect, like touchstones that people can associate with.
Rob, you're a creative, you're an artist. You're also a geek. I mean, you're working with this machine. When you don't have that machine with you, when you don't have your iPhone with you, do you see the world in frames?
Yeah, probably yes. I mean, look, I've been doing film like 15, 20 years. I've been doing this. I think so. I mean, it's difficult to put yourself in somebody else's head, but yes, very much. My eyes always roaming around frames. I mean, like right now, like if there was some light, say, like a glimmer of skylight or something, I'd be like, oh, is there a sunset going on? I mean, that's always happening. And in fact, with like modern, like you get the Philips Hue bulbs.
Oh yeah,
that come up with all the colors or something. Sorry, product placement, but you get these weird colors, and they completely mess with me. So I'll be like talking to somebody, and they'll be just, is there a sunset? No, I'm in a dark room.
Yeah.
But yes, no, definitely, it's always like.
So it never turns off.
I don't think so.
And that's always on.
Yeah, but like I say, I don't know, maybe but yes, absolutely. I mean, I've been doing this for a very long time, and you definitely have that.
Well, given that history of what you've been doing and the experience you've got in doing this for a very long time, what are the key ingredients of strong visual storytelling? Boom, boom, boom. Is there such a thing?
It's communication, isn't it? I mean, you are telling a story, and you want to concisely work out what's important, get the emotional depth, kind of land the details, engage the audience. I'm going to explain the definition of coherence in a very uncoherent way, but that's essentially what I'm trying to say.
creating a coherent story that people can then engage with and go down the line on.
Yes, but also, explain the story that the client wants you to tell and the story that you want to tell, but in a very, clear way. I mean, short attention spans, online videos, you need like the first 10, 15 seconds needs to really, both, connect the audience, introduce the product or the destination, all of those things.
We've talked about the past now. What's a story or a location you're still dreaming about capturing, but haven't yet had the chance to?
I mean, I probably turned the question on its head. I mean, what isn't there? I mean, we're back in Istanbul, right? I haven't been here for best part of 10 years. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how the city's changed and going to what were familiar places and seeing, so I'd love to shoot Istanbul again. Like all the places I have been, I'd love to again. All the places I haven't been, I'd love to film. And like Turkey, I mean, it was brilliant. We were on the plane on the way here, and my eldest 10-year-old was scrolling through the web content on and Turkish Airlines got these brilliant kind of destination videos of all the different places.
Oh, yeah.
So he was going through and like making this wish list. And my wife was like, "Yeah, that's a long trip. We can't go. No, we can't." But yeah, so there's all sorts of places it'd be great to go to.
I love that. Now, you've also explored some truly remote and fascinating corners of the world, including destinations across Africa. How has Turkish Airlines' extensive global network supported your creative process, especially when crafting stories and languages in places that aren't always easy to reach?
I mean, I'm here, right? I mean, Turkish Airlines get you places. I mean, how much more fundamental can it be? Getting you to a location. I mean, it'd be difficult without it, definitely.
Do you think that visual storytelling has the power to shape how cities are remembered or even how they evolve?
It's kind of an ecosystem, isn't it, right? Because as a storyteller, you are looking to understand a city and represent it. And maybe there are some iconic examples that have really touched and connected with people, but it's kind of a symbiotic relationship, isn't it? Like you are trying to tell the story of the city, and if the city, people who live there, the people, residents can connect with it and enjoy it, it all kind of lives together and captures a moment, doesn't it? Kind of like a catchy pop song or something, isn't it? It's a similar thing.
When you're in your creative process, are you ever conflicted between, if you like, crafting something eternal, timeless, classic, versus something immediate, viral, electric?
I mean, I wish I could just make a viral video and knew exactly. I mean, for me, you've just got to do something you're passionate about. You've got to really put your heart and soul into what you're doing. And look, if you do a good job, other people might like it. And it's just there's a weird thing about it, isn't it? It's like, I mean, I guess let's use like pop stars or something. Some of them can reliably make a number one hit. But a lot of people, they just don't quite know. There's a certain thing, a magic ingredient. The stars align and you get something great. So, no, I wish I could be that calculating about it. But no, it's a work of passion. You sort of do the best you can.
Are there any recent technological innovations and anything on that side of life that really excite you in terms of visual storytelling?
I mean, so the overarching thing I have is flow motion, and the idea is it's a single take, so the camera's roving around. So anything that enables me to do that. I mean, we mentioned being at the top of the Glatter Tower, right? And
yeah.
So 10, 15 years ago, it was a matter of filming with kind of long lenses, like zoomy lenses to get details and to film that couple having the argument. But nowadays, right, you've got drones. You've got FPV drone. I'm a pretty good FPV drone pilot. You put some goggles on, you look like a geek, and you fly this little drone, like weighs less than your smartphone, and you can fly it through tiny apertures. Like you could fly it, between these microphones if you want. And that will allow you to get from the top of the Glatter Tower down into the taxi, see what happens in the argument, that sort of thing. So that's something that's happened in the last 10 years. And being on top of that technology enables that journey. We could see what happens in that story in a slightly more engaging way.
Well,
so
what about AI? What about the actual sort of software side of it as opposed to the hardware recording side of it?
Oh, it's cool. I love post-production and I mean, it's impossible to know, isn't it? I mean, I think we think of like the big game-changing things. Maybe we're going to have like chips in our head and like pictures put in front of our eyes. But usually it's a lot more rudimentary, isn't it? The actual stuff that changes. But yes, I mean, it's tremendously cool, the stuff you can already do and the agency it gives you to be creative. I have no control over it. It's a bit like, not wanting to get dark. But with AI, there's tremendous potential that I'm also quite excited about, definitely.
It does sound like you're still in the hardware world, though. The camera, the machine, the
drone.
But
it's an integral part of filmmaking. I mean, to be able to capture something, you need to understand the constraints and the way you can best represent something. So, like for a painter or sculptor, they need to understand their tools, and that's very much what it is to be a filmmaker, as well as obviously having the ability to tell a story and capture details and things like that.
Have you moved then from the earth to the sky? I mean, from, if you like, a handheld camera to a drone?
I mean, they're all ingredients, and that's exactly it. I mean, a lot of the time, you want to take the best of what they can do, right? And there's lots of things drones aren't very good at. They're buzzy, annoying things. So it's about having an understanding for, and personally, I have an engagement with the whole creative process. So, I try to be the person doing the filming as much as I can. Sometimes I work with a crew, but very often it's just me. I do the post-production, and I'm involved with the planning, and that sort of having that cohesive involvement in every stage means I can cut no corners. No, it means I can actually work out, exactly what's important and where you need to put effort in, and where, maybe you can be more economic, and where you can. It just means you can get really realize maybe things of greater ambition that wouldn't be possible unless you had a very large crew.
So, Rob, as someone who often travels long haul for work, for your craft, what onboard services of Turkish Airlines do you consider truly essential? Something that helps you stay creative, in the moment, rested, or simply makes the journey smoother?
I mean, we live in a pretty cool time, right, where we can be on an airplane and there we could be working. It's an office. That's the thing I love most about travel is I've got my laptop and you've got Wi-Fi and you can be connected and you can be, you're just literally in your office. Just imagine that, like 20 years ago, the idea you could be in a sky flying at 500 miles an hour and you'd be sending pictures to your kids saying, look, we're just traveling over like the Dateline or something. It's amazing. It's baffling, right? When you message your family and you're traveling and they're like, they're having their morning cup of coffee and it's like, oh, they're flying over the coast of Japan. I mean, it's crazy.
So it's that seamless connectivity.
Definitely.
So when you look back at some of your earlier work, what do you wish you had done differently, if anything? And what are you most proud of still?
I mean, I do watch earlier work. I try not to too much. And I mean, they're things of their place and time, right? You make them and it's not just you, there's a whole number of people working on them. And there's kind of an energy that makes them what they are. And it's kind of very lucky to have got to do these things. A couple of times I have been asked by clients to go back and kind of polish and refine things. And I come at it like, oh, I'm so much better now. Look, I was an idiot back then. I'll just do it much better. And sometimes I've reworked, like literally working on the same files. And actually, I preferred what I did originally. And I can't tell you why. So they're things of their, when you made them. And
Imagine somebody listening to this podcast is an aspiring photographer, filmmaker. What would you say to that person now, bearing in mind the creative journey that you've had? What would be the advice that you would give that filmmaker in the ether?
I mean, I think it's a very current thing. I mean, it's such a changing landscape, and I think my experiences were mine, and they are of a different time. I think it's just basically you have to believe in yourself, right? It's a very low percentage shot being successful in a creative industry. So you have to believe you are a very gifted filmmaker, photographer, and you just need to put lots of time in. I mean, there's a story about the Beatles, how they put in so many thousand hours.
10,000 hours.
Yeah, exactly. It's that. Like, it's got to be muscle memory.
So try harder.
Just keep on and fail
keep
a lot.
Going.
Failing, definitely.
Fail hard.
Sadly, it's a big part of it.
No, I love that.
Good at failure, definitely.
Amen. What do you think about the future then of cinematic travel storytelling? What does it look like in 10 years' time?
It's kind of exciting, isn't it? I mean, I think we like to think of like floating around in hoverboards or starships or something. It'll probably be something quite similar to now. There's tremendous potential, and I think as individuals now, for like not very much money, but like present day, you have like $5,000, you can get a really Hollywood level cinema setup, drone setup. It's never been like that. So I think the amount of potential and agency people now have to tell stories, it's really cool. And where that goes, I mean, and what kind of languages of cinema and storytelling that opens up, I mean, yeah, it's pretty exciting.
So what 3 pieces of advice would you give to our listeners now based upon your experience in your particular section of creative storytelling?
As in to get into filmmaking, or
no, as in
more zen-like?
No, as in more zen-like.
I mean, travel's great, isn't it? I mean, the thing I'm looking forward to doing today after this interview is just walking. I mean, I'm going to have to meet up with my family at some point and talk to them, but just like being in a space and just the serendipitous sort of moments, that sort of stuff, taking yourself out of your familiar environment and just absorbing, just seeing what's around you, and without any necessary kind of product or purpose in mind, is actually it's the good stuff, right?
So be present, be clear.
Don't look at your phone.
Get on a plane. Okay,
Yeah,
fantastic. Rob, thank you. Listening to you today, it's clear that some people don't just capture the world, they choreograph its rhythm. With every frame, Rob shows us that cities aren't built from stone and steel, but from breath, light, and motion. Just like Turkish Airlines, which connects not only airports but entire emotional landscapes, Rob's films connect memory with place, wonder with precision. Whether it's the quiet dawn over Cappadocia or the electric pulse and magnetic rhythm of Istanbul, his lens doesn't just record, it reveals. It teaches us to see what we've missed, to feel the tempo of a place, and to remember that even the fastest transitions carry human stories within them. In an era of instant content, Rob reminds us that the power of intention, that slowing down can actually show us more, and that beauty, when framed with care and precision, becomes meaning. Thank you for joining us. If this episode sparked your desire to not just travel, but to truly know that Turkish Airlines flies to more countries than any other airline, your next story might already be waiting, frame by frame, somewhere on the other side of the lens. Until then, keep moving, keep noticing, and always widen your world.